So this is where we're gonna start. This is gonna be more of a me fucking around doing whatever I want stream. Um, like that's any different from any other stream. This is the D&D world of Escape War, the tabletop RPG. Escape Wars. Um, it has three eras of existence that players can play in, depending on what they want, what they enjoy, um, their their own level of fantasy. I'm using Asgar's fantasy map generator for this. I've done a lot of hand adjusting for rivers, streams, lakes, um, biomes, the mountains. I built uh, the the islands between the two supercontinents, and even the coastline. So I had to do a lot of let's zoom in. See, there's still even some fucking trees in the water, but I've had to do a lot of fixing and adjusting, making waterways and roads and town names. But the current configuration is the first era. Um, Not the most commonly played one, but the one that we're playing right now. It encompasses about 1,000 to 2,000 years of history for the planet. They call it Shilla, Shila, if you care. um, it, from creation of the planet and people and existence and all that to 2,000 years in. Um, the first escape war happens around the 900 to 1,000 year, and it is all up here in this little neck of the woods that the first escape war happens. Um, which is also where we are currently playing in our campaign. This is the holiest of holy cities, the Jitta. It is where the first being was created and conversed with the gods. Also, the first city established by the Strife because they were originally nomadic, traveling around the whole world, gathering up all of the creations, um, the lower races, the less long lived races amongst the world that the gods have created to protect them because they took it upon themselves to be their protectors. And then after the first escape war, when all the other races escaped captivity or oppression, um, they had to actually understand borders and territory and uh, land claim, things like that weren't part of their society beforehand. As the Aerialites, who led the rebellion, the first escape war, uh, went south as far and as fast as they could and started building fortifications, mines, weapons, using everything that they had been being used for, since they were being used mostly for labor, research assistance, and fodder, basically for mining and fishing and the dangerous stuff, going out to sea, um, and fighting back against their oppressors. It wasn't to say that it was a bloody first war, as Strife were not accustomed to that kind of thing. Killing, war, it wasn't big on their agenda. So when Exodus happened, while there was resistance by the strife, like, hey, dumbasses, you're not supposed to escape. If you run away, how are we supposed to protect you? Right? So obviously there were some skirmishes, small scale battles, and a lot of anger from the oppressed being taken out on the strife as they fled. Laws were broken, so they tried to enforce those because they still believed that the lower races were under them, or under their laws and rules and regulations. And the first escape war wasn't very long, like 4 or 5 years, very fast, very um, decisive, because the strife were like, you can go. We don't want death and destruction. We want protection. We want you all to survive. Not to say there weren't like crazies on both sides that were very intent on, you know, death and destruction. Um, oh, you know what? My head isn't moving, so we're just gonna go. We're gonna go into a Discord server so you see my head light up, bounce. But yeah, so ended up with two countries: the gerontocracy of the strife and the empire of area. Um, However, a lot of the other races saw the empire as just a carbon copy of the gerontocracy, while also possibly being worse. So everybody else kept fleeing further, more south, as far as they could go, into what's called the Akari Wildlands, which is everything south of the empire. A little bit later in the second era, this whole area here would be the capital state of the Gamzin, or human civilization, and they would expand out to about where this river cuts this eastern portion out. And the Arkari wildlands would go strictly to Darthorn. So they would have the largest expanse of land, um, but they would be more separate than any of the other countries because they are separated by tribe, very tribal um, political climate. Moving into the eastern continent. Oh yeah, this is the western continent. It's referred to as the western continent. Also, Lanelton. Um, Lanelton, also for trivia purposes, is the first, I guess, fantasy name for a place or location that I come up with. Just because I was sitting in, I think, social studies class in high school, and I was trying to make up my own language, and I was like, how do I do this? What do I do? And I saw up in the corner there was a sign that said national. And so I wrote it backwards and tried to pronounce it. And then I threw a little flair on it and deleted a letter or two. And I was like, you know what? Lanelton. That sounds cool. And so it stuck for, I think we're at 19 years, 18, 19 years now with that one fantasy name. Anyway, the eastern continent of Eristrad um, houses probably the most conflicted of the races. So, like over here in Lanelton, um, there is conflict, but they have stabilized who owns what kind of political nature they have with each other, um, who hates who, and all that other business. They go through periods of peace and economic build and restructure, so they don't conflict with each other very often. Over here, got a lot of issues. So this desert, this arid, hot fucking place. You cannot really live on the surface. It's too hot. There's even a creature called a sparkling skeletal, um, which is a kind of bug-like creature. Any bug-like creature on the surface. It doesn't. It's not a specific bug species. Um, but what they do is they roll around with their carapace when they're young, uh, to get sand all over them, and then they kind of find a spot near one of these super hot lakes and streams, um, to stick the sand to them. The sand actually, over time, melts and becomes glass and reflective. So that's how they stay cool and are able to survive up top. The Taval are the people that live in this region. They live underground, expansive tunnel systems. Most of these water supplies are underwater or underground. Um, so that's where you'll find most of their um, settlements, their tunnels, their structures. This perfect stretch of land between this tundra and this desert is what they want. They want to move out of the underground. They want to move away from this arid area, and they want to claim this perfect center. However, over here in the tundra, we have the Ethun. They're a race of very large people, um, between 6 foot at small for their race to 9 foot for about average for their race. They're very big. They're a mixture of like barbarians and Krogans and Spartans and like everything that I like about warrior fantasy beings. So while they are also tribal, like the Darthorn, they see something, they claim it, and they that's it. That's the logic. Their basic form of negotiation is headbutt. Like, oh, that's a nice boat. That's my boat. Doesn't matter whose boat it is. It's now that Et Hun's boat. That's what they believe. So they'll fight for it. So both the Taval and the Et Hun want this center strip. So there's constant conflict between them. As we go south, this whole area uh, is one city, and the individual sectors are districts. It's called the Grand City. Another human race, the Undulin, um, control this, and they expand slowly. Every couple years, it always seems to be, larger, the city. So they do just build onto it. Am I missing anybody? Anybody who has a claim? All at Hun, Gomson, Undolin, Strife, Aerolites, Darthorn. No, that's everybody who owns a claim. This little patch out here uh, is the Free Cities of Granis. Um, they don't want to be involved in any of the wars. None of the escape wars, none of the battles between the groups on the continent or this one. Uh, whereas most of these are cut up by who's in charge, the races, the Darthorn, the Airlights, the Strife, the Gomson. So the majority of those races are in control in their countries. The Free States are almost a perfect mix of everybody. No one race has claim to it, and they are very tenacious about defending it, so all the others ignore it. Um, there was a time that these islands in between were neutral, mostly during the first and beginning of the second era. They got claimed over time. Most not neutral, but like a pirates for the most part. Darthorn, Gomson, Undulin, Tval, Ed they all have claim. So these are constantly switching hands. Anyway, a little bit of a tour. Uh, First era is more Bronze Age, um, low steampunk or runepunk technology. Um, Second era is moving into more the industrial era, where everyone's coming up with inventions left and right. The the horseless carriage run by a rune engine. Um, Street lights, all the goodies that come with that. Uh, Not really phones, but long range communication like radio. And then third era, you've got airships, um, trains, cars. It's basically Cyberpunk 2077 if all the cybernetics were just magic. Um, and each era has kind of its thing too, where if you choose this race class combination, you're going to be rare, you're going to be sought after, um, and it can affect the story. So everything is dynamic. Just depends on what you want to do. Do you want to do like full on medieval warfare and you know old school D&D survival stuff? Then yeah, first era is your go. Um, you want to hit the Fable 2 aesthetic and have some rune guns and uh, car, maybe, old school crank car or something like that. Uh, Maybe you want to do, Red Dead Redemption 2 motif. Then you hit second era. And then if you want your advanced airship, air pirate, sky pirate shit, some Final Fantasy 12 biz, Final Fantasy 8 shit, um, you go into third era. Let's do the hard thing. So I'm gonna go down her. This is our map that we've been using. Looks like people are on it, which will be interesting because they're gonna see me rolling and they're probably gonna be messaging me shortly. Um, but I figured we would go over the character sheet and how to make a character because this is the thing that takes the longest about um, playing this game. Everything that you're doing in setting up this character is to make everything else about playing the game faster. So you don't have to wait forever for people to calculate damages or um, make a decision on what to do. Everything has a set outcome, but it's all dependent on these stats and everything that you're about to set up. So we'll go through here. We'll make Leon. We'll go ahead and just make Leon. All right. So your I'm sorry. Background is mercenary. Job's different. All right. So the job system is not complete. For what's there is done. We are good to go. There. Can I? We have a back button on Discord now. Anyway, get distracted. Um, so first thing you want to do, it helps look at your background, what race and class you are. Then you can pick a job. Uh, you can do this in any order. I'm gonna go ahead and just go one by one down the list, and we'll hit it. So what do I think? Leon could be military. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with military for Leon. So job, military. What does the military give him? Let's see. Military persons can usually spot each other and are trained to spot things others wouldn't, like exits or ambushes. With this job, you are able to use an awareness check with advantage. On a success, you may take, uh, or you may learn if I fix that wording. Uh, you may learn if others around you are secretly military, assassins, or if you're heading towards an ambush. You may then take a movement and full action immediately. So we'll get into actions later. Gain proficiency in awareness and endurance. So that's what we want. We get awareness, click, and endurance, click. Sweet. Oh damn, who did he worship? Let's look at the gods. So these primary gods don't change very often. You can change them as you play as the DM, obviously. Uh, gods play a significant role in any campaign. If, say, we'll just have Fura, right? Fura, the Fire of War, her existence, her aspect, when she was created by her brothers and sisters as a true god. There is a difference between a true god and a god that was born because human or mortals, when you die, are judged by. Where is she? Caladra. I lose you. There you go. The Lady of the End, Caladra, feared and respected and accepted as the only one who plays the part of the god of death. She's not evil. She does pass judgment on your soul. So the things that you do while playing, you are judged to be, good actions or evil actions, pure or corrupt actions. Um, the DM can track these however they want. I like to do um, a 1 through 50 range, and then a -1 through -50 range, and every 5 or 10 would be a tier of good or evil. So that way they can go back and forth and not be so evil that everybody can sense your evilness. Um, is- Flavor is nice, but it is also a mechanic of the game because when you die, you are judged good or evil. If you're good, you become a guardian, um, which is like a minor deity. If you're bad, you become a demon, and you get to go to hell or the demon realm. It's fun. Uh, your race changes, the stats and abilities change because you get to choose another class, your demon class or your guardian class, and you get another 30 levels of fun and excitement. Anyway, um, but yeah, you start when you die. You can, if you're good enough at telling a story, you can separate the party at this point. Somebody dies, and you're like, "Hey, do you want to roll another character, or do you want to go into your second phase?" Uh, all they, as a minor demon, they can escape the demon realm pretty simply. As a minor god, they can, have a physical form, no problem. They can rejoin the party. However, things are going to look and be different for the demons or guardians in the party, and we'll get to that later. Anyway, let's see who we going to worship for Leon. Um, was very into vengeance. He was also not an atheist, but he didn't worship any single one for a long time. Uh, we'll go basic. We'll go with Osmoros. Oh, another thing about the gods. So yeah, if you have Fura in your game, war exists. She's also represented by the element fire. So as long as she exists as the primary god that she is, fire, magic, and war exist. So if she is killed, um, no one will hold domain over war. So it's possible the entire world could fall into a battle, um, and fire magic would cease, be nil, non-existent, uh, until another guardian took the mantle of the primary god of fire. So yes, you can kill off your gods. You can kill off all the gods I write. I don't give a shit. Have your fun. Um, you can even have it to where the one god has taken over all of the mantles and is now the god of everything because he's not represented by an element. Anyway, you don't get anything special. You can pray to these gods. Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't. It's all DM discretion anyway. But yeah, Leon is half Strife, half Gomson. And that means we get some options, okay? So you can take the stat bonuses and HP of one race and the ability of the other. Or you can just say you didn't get that many traits or genes from the other race and go with all of one. Uh, choice is open. Do what you want. uh, Leon's going to take the birthright from his race and then the stats and health of the Gomson. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just steal. Stop it. This thing. The math is wrong here. So anyway, go here. Beat. Birthright. Yay! Look at us making progress. We'll go choose a spell here later. Class. All right. Class is kind of a pick and choose at this point. So we got a tank, who's the brute. Finesse is your average DPS, and then caster is either support caster or DPS caster. You have brute casters, um, which are like our paladin, the chosen, um, the spiritualist, and the wilder. These are incomplete classes, but you get the idea. They're tanks that can cast. Finesse casters. Uh, obviously, there are DPS, but they also have the option to cast spells, like a red mage, if you know Final Fantasy lore. Um, I guess also technically a blue mage. We get spell blades, spies, uh, apprentice, which is going to be, I think, our artificer, and the fool, which was made by Pidge. Very fun, interesting class. He is playing it. He's testing it out. Uh, I hope it works out because I don't want to get rid of this. This is funny. However, for Leon, we also have race specific classes, so only your specific race can do that. Let me see, Strife. Blood Edges! Yay! Fragiso in the Strife language. Strife Blood Edges go through this ceremony that has their wings removed. Um, it's to fit in with the other races because the only thing that makes them stand out is their vibrantly colored hair, as you can tell from Rowan and Lania's uh, character art above mine. They have vibrantly colored hair and pointy ears. Aerialites also have pointy ears, and you can hide the hair pretty easily if you wanted to. So they can spy, they can assassinate, they can blend in with any of the other races. Because even if they kept the wings, the pointy ears, and they went with the Darthorn, they could just be a type of bird. Who knows? Because Darthorn, as Claire and Cyrus, are Darthorn. They have tails and ears, and they have features of the animal that they can transform into. Anyway, um, it's the only way in the Strife community, social caste. It's a caste system. The Strife work on a caste system. The only way to improve your family's situation, raise in the caste, is for somebody in your family to volunteer to be a blood edge. Um, because they become servants of the people. So if they don't specifically get picked up by a higher caste family to serve them directly, they serve the Strife in general, just all around. So that it's a kind of very honored servitude, and they have abilities through other rituals in later uh, eras after the first, second, third era, which allow them to specifically hunt and defeat demons because the Strife are trying to prevent the demon realm from bleeding over into the mortal. But not that's not Leon. Leon is not a blood edge. So we're gonna go back to finesse. Uh, Ranger is a good one. It's fun. Uh, Lots of command, lots of aura. Um, Kind of like your general leader of the group dynamic. Not a Leon. Thief is also very fun. You just automatically lock pick things. Takes you, your turn, but you can do it. You can steal people's stuff, hide in plain sight, auto kill people, eh, and then it becomes an assassin. Myrmidon is my baby, my precious, my perfect little boy. Um, Almost completely picked from uh, Fire Emblem. They don't boast a good defense. They're 100% an offensive class. They're meant to get critical hits. They're meant to take stances, um, and gamble with their lives. If you think you got good luck, that's the class for you. becomes a Master Swordsman and a Sword Saint. Archers, nobody. I've never had anybody play this class at all, ever. Fucking 18 years of playing this game, and not a single person has played the Archer. I have rebuilt it over and over again. People just, aren't into it, I guess, which is fine. For casters, we have the Seer, the Faithful, who's more of your white mage, and the Mage, just the outright blast everything they can find kind of dude. We're gonna go Finesse Caster. We're gonna go Spellblade. Aha! I've been visited by a bot. Who'd have thought? Goodbye, bot. Anyway, class. Spellblade. Yay! We have a class. We're level 1. This changes everything. Alright. So now we get Knowledge Magic, Runecraft, Sense, and access to the Elemental spell list. So let's go ahead. Knowledge Magic, Runecraft, and Sense. Okay. These are some decent proficiencies. This is a dangerous dude. Awareness and magic, and sense have some issues. Okay. Now let's roll out statistics. Everyone loves statistics. Grab our d6. Roll 3 of them. That's not bad. So we're gonna do this for every stat, right? So we have 6 stats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are actually decent stats. Only one under a 10. Okay, so obviously I am a finesse caster, finesse first. So I'm going to be more melee. I'm going to put my highest into skill, which, so look, 13 is the highest. So, kapow, 13. Look at that shit. Automatically. What the hell? Oh, this is before it got fixed. Shit. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go cheat real quick. Don't tell anybody. It's going for me to use. Go ahead and just use this. Duplicate. All right. There. No. It should be 2. What has happened? 11, 12, 13. Oh, no, no. You're right. Okay. I'm wrong. My bad. So this is correct now. So we are taking the 13, putting it in skill, the 12, and putting it in magic. We have two 11s. So let's go ahead. Oops, skill 13, 11, and then 11. So we're going to keep the 9 in intelligence because he's not the smart boy. What else do we have? A normal 10. 10 should be zeroed out. Strength, yes. So this is right. This is right now. Okay. So my rolls don't look too good right now at level 1, do they? It's okay. We'll get there. I have to do HP. We're going to take the HP of the Gomson, which is 25 at start, plus Vitality. So just 25. Hell yeah. We're level 1. Oh, we forgot, didn't we? Knowledge Magic, Runecraft, Sense, Awareness, Endurance. I didn't memorize nothing. All right. Initiative doesn't exist anymore. We got rid of that, but it's still an artifact on our character sheet, which is fine. Need to autofill these, or at least fix them. Skill. So, maximum physical. That's going to go off of minimum, isn't it? Yeah. It's minimum 1. Dos. Oh, yeah, these are broken, so I actually turn those off. Magic 1, 2. So we're pretty even magical damage and physical damage. This is without items, upgrades, weapons, stuff like that. So this is just your base. Proficiency modified 2, that's correct. Oh, and we forgot. So we're taking the stat bonuses of the Gomson. So -1 speed. He's a slow boy, which is okay. +1 magic, +1 intelligence. So we're going to go to 13. And look, we're not dumb anymore. Look at us. Uh, Military didn't give us anything, right? Oh, it did. Okay. Military gives us 1 strength, 1 skill, which means our physical goes to 2 and 4. So these damages are decided by the stats. So physical attack source comes from skill, right here, which is a 2 for your bonus. So your base minimum damage that you can do is 2. The maximum, which is your base times 2, of 4. And then Spellblade gave us 2 skill, 1 magic, 1 intelligence. 16, 11, 14. So now this becomes 2 and 4. You get the idea. You're tracking, right? It's not bad. If you're tracking our HP and the kind of damage that we could output, you can tell that the fight's going to be interesting. But we do get access to the elemental spell list as a spell blade. Plus, we get an extra spell from our birthright. So let's put the birthright back in. And we will get access to more spells every few levels, which I should probably just update now. So I get one spell starting at level 1, a second spell at level 5, so on and so forth. Just a free spell from the physical, mental, and elemental spell lists. Uh, but ugh, I'm lost. Here we go. Spells discussion. This is the elemental spell list. I got a lot to choose from, right? Wrong. Leon is a lightning elemental caster. So we go to the lightning list here, and I can choose any one of those for my um, birthright. Let's see, what should I take? Let's go basic. Let's just go ahead and grab the lightning ball, lightning blast. Now you can get weapons and stuff however you want. We're just gonna go ahead and give him a basic spear. It's gonna have a bonus of plus 2 men, plus 4 max. And this is a pretty strong starting. God damn it. The fucking math. There we go. How do I just get rid of the math? I want to get rid of the math. You're pissing me off. Let's write it that way. So, this is physical damage. So, +2 minimum, 5, +4 maximum, 10. And the lightning ball itself, a ball of lightning that strikes an initial target before exploding in a burst 3. So, let's say, here, 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 there. Okay. So burst 3 is three squares in every direction, right? 1, 2, 3. This person's not in last. 1, that person's in. 1, 2, 3, in. Get the idea. Burst 3. It's gonna hit this person as the initial target, and these two subsequently in the blast. Who must make a speed check versus the caster's magic check, or take the caster's magic attack roll plus their magic mod and damage, and be paralyzed, or half as much on a success and not paralyzed. Any target that moves on the following turn must pass the check again, or take half as much damage as the initial. So it can half and half and half and half. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and make our d20 roll. 5. For the magic check, so they have to pass the 7 speed check. So let's do our counter roll. 6. It's possible they only have a 1, but let's see if Leon dodges it. He does not. So he takes full damage. So what it means by the magic roll. So a magic attack roll could be a 2 at minimum damage or 4 at maximum damage. So what we have to do now, because it is a hit, they're going to take max damage. Usually you roll 2d2 or 2d20, right? God damn, what is that? Can I get something more interesting? Yeah, that works. So for a regular attack, a regular magic attack, or a regular physical attack, you roll 2d20. The first roll is your accuracy die. It's going to be considered your accuracy roll. 9 and below is a miss. 10 and above is a hit. So with a 3, that attack would be a miss. However, the second dice is your damage die, or your damage attack. 9 and below is your minimum damage. 10 and above is your maximum damage. Obviously, if you roll a 20 on your accuracy die, that's a crit. If you roll a 1, that's critical fail. That's normal. But with this second roll, I rolled a maximum damage roll, but I missed. So this is going to be considered a glancing blow where you would do minimum damage. So if I was doing a physical attack, I missed, but it's glancing blow, so I'm going to do 5 minimum damage. Makes sense. However, this is a magic damage roll for my lightning ball. I So we're going to roll our d20. I rolled a 12, that's maximum damage. So 4, and they're paralyzed. So they can't move on their next turn. But let's say, these two guys down here passed the speed check, so they're going to take half of my maximum damage, which is 2. It's okay. And they're not paralyzed. But now they have to move to attack. They have to pass the roll again. So we got one fail, one pass. Or they take half as much as the initial damage. So this one takes another 1 because the damage they took before was a 2. All right. Tracking? We're tracking. Armor and other equipment that you put on the body. Uh, Regular armor, boots, gloves, helmet. It's kind of your slots. You can have, rings and necklaces, pendants, or spell focuses, whatever you want. But the majority of things that you're going to wear, like armor and such, isn't actually going to make it harder for you to get hit. Some of it can, if it's magical, makes it harder for magic attacks to hit you, or make it harder for physical attacks to hit you. So your accuracy die, the person maybe has to roll an 11 and higher to hit you instead of a 10. However, the standard for armor and equipment is to raise your HP. So you can take more punishment. So, as an example, we're just going to give Leon a breastplate. Going to be breasty. And that's going to be plus, well, it doesn't, let's just do basic shit. So 6 HP. Real weak shit. So we're going to add that on here. So now he's got 31. So happy. Boom. This is pretty much a level 1 character. What you can do, what I like to do, is give people, 300 experience. Oh, let's go over abilities, right? Spell casting. So you have charges, ability charges, and spell charges. I like to put them where the initiative is. So for spells, I've got a magic mod of 2, so I can cast 2 spells, right? Before I need a long rest or other ways to recharge my spell counter. We have something in the store called a Sorium potion. It's made out of a special powder pulled off of a rare flower. Fills you with magical energy, so you can restore some of your spell slots or spell charges. For abilities that I would use for, say, my class, so let's pull open Discord again. Finesse caster. So let's say I did dash, right? Um, I could do that 3 times because I have 3 ability charges. And I say that because what I usually do is I give my party about 300 experience to spend however they want, right? To make their character, because everything that we do costs the EXP. So that's what the cost is. This doesn't level you down. You get your level up EXP, which is why I put it in 2 separate areas. You got your level up EXP, and then your pool of EXP to spend. So technically, you would have 0 level up EXP because you're level 1. But you would have 300 to spend because I gave you 300 to start to purchase abilities. Makes sense? Makes sense. Anyway, so let's jump ahead. Let's get us 100 EXP. Let's level up. Don't touch this. This will change that, and you don't want that to happen. So, I've leveled up. Let's go back. First thing you want to do with level up is you're going to want to roll your EXP die. It's a D4. I got 2. So I have 2 points that I can put anywhere I want. It's custom build shit. Okay? Every level up, you do this. You roll your D4, you take your custom stat points, you distribute them how you want. I don't like being slow, so we're going to get our +1 from our speed. This decides turn order and initiative. That's why initiative doesn't exist. As you saw, I can have a 12 or I can have a 13. It's still a +1. Okay, so let's say Leon has 12 and another person has 13. We both have a +1, but they have 13, so they go before me. If it ends up being 1-to-1, what does it matter? One of us goes before the other. We can decide that every turn if we wanted to. Maybe it's more beneficial for me to go first on this round. Who knows? Um, we don't need to do anything other than that. But for argument's sake, let's say I put 1 into vitality, and I got a +1. Yay! So now that I have that +1, now I can level this up to 2 because it adds it automatically here. Yay, 33. Anyway, let's look at the Gomson's HP die, which is a D8. So what we do here, D8. So usually you roll the D8 plus your vitality, right? So 5, 6. But I already got that, so all I got to do is add 5 here. 36. Slick. We got to level up. Look at us. Look at us. Nothing here changes because I didn't increase my skill or magic. I made myself faster and more durable. And now I have 100 EXP to spend, and I can get something from. Um, so I can get something from my class. Cool. I can get a weapon art. So people are going to see Spellblade and they're going to be like, oh, a sword. I have swords. I need sword spell arts. Which is cool, yeah, but it just says blade. So you can use anything with a blade. Leon is a spearman. Yes. But that's one of my options. I can do that. I can get another spell, but not with 100 usually. Spells are expensive because they're super strong. Um, abilities. No, those are old. Where did I hide? I hid it from myself, I swear. Feats. Feats discussion. Okay. You can take a feat. I've got a lot. I did a lot of typing and research and stuff like that. Most feats are 300. So probably not going to have my first level give me anything except for something from my class, which is okay. Or you can save up your EXP. Save up your EXP to buy the other things, whatever you want to do. Um, there's no order to things. There's no right or wrong way to build your character. Total, utter freedom, which is why making the character takes the longest? Why it's the longest step in all of this? The only downside is for DMs, our poor little DMs who will have to just scuff the shit out of our NPCs and quest characters because you would have to take these level up steps for whatever level you want to make your NPC or quest character or whatever you're doing. Um, I do have a basic bestiary that I'm working on. Just go to the top. I have slimes up here after the Inferno and Glacier Wolves. Nice, because I'm smart. Anyway, so yeah, I got slimes. Your basic enemy that you could fight. Um, it has an explanation of what it is, what it does. Uh, you know how to explain a slime to somebody. Come on. It has no magic attack. It has a 5 in physical attack. It's the only damage it does. Min max doesn't matter. It'll do 5 damage. It has 5 HP. Sadly, if I hit it with magic, I can't kill the motherfucker. I couldn't kill it with a ball of lightning at level 2. So keep that in mind. You could just send a horde of slime after people. And what I'm doing here is for their actions, and I will explain combat actions. You get a full action, 2 minor actions, and a movement action. So moving around, doing your attack, which is usually a full action, or like drinking a potion, using an item, object interaction, uh, your minor actions. You can give up both of your minor interactions on your turn to do another full action attack. Has to be an attack. You can't just be like, I'm going to cast 2 spells. No, has to be an attack. Um, so this explains what a slime does on its turn. Slam. The slime makes an attack by hurling itself at a target up to its movement and distance. So the slime can move 4, so 20 feet, has no ability to jump, has no bonuses, and it's resistant to fire. It'll move its 4 spaces or hurl itself 4 spaces at the nearest person. That's all. It'll make an attack roll like we were talking about. So let's see. It hits for minimum damage, which doesn't matter. It's 5. We went over this. And then it will take its minor actions. So it's going to idle. So slime always uses this action at the beginning of. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. At the beginning of its turn, by rolling a d2 on a 1, the slime ends its turn after moving its full movement in any direction. On a 2, the slime uses its full action in combat. If not in combat, the slime uses Devour and consumes the nearest object into its body. So this doesn't have a d2, so we're going to roll a d4, evens and odds, right? d2 is just a coin. Odd. So that's a 2 on a d2. So yeah, it would have used its full action to attack. Or if it wasn't in combat, it would devour. So the caster, which is the slime, absorbs an object into its body through digestion and gains traits or bonuses based on the object. I.e., devouring blood or flesh can heal the user. Devouring ore or metals can give the user harder skin. So more HP, healing itself, making it to where you have to roll that 11 instead of a 10, like we were talking about earlier. Stuff like that. Uh, I had a party who captured a slime and fed it all sorts of shit to see what it would do. That was fun. Do shit like that. A harder enemy, the Inferno or the Glacier Wolf, 300 HP, does 12 to 44 damage, or 35 to 50 magic attack. Move 6, jump 3, plus 9 strength, plus 12 speed. This is a very strong creature. So let's go over resistances. So Inferno and Glacier Wolves are resistant to their same element. So Inferno Wolves, fire, Glacier Wolves, ice. And both are resistant to earth. They are vulnerable to the opposite element and wind. So both are vulnerable to wind, and both, so Inferno, water, Glacier, fire. Right? Hey. Well, actually, it's ice and fire. We got to be specific because that's how specific the elements work in the game. Um, resistance is 25%, not 50, because you can go over 100%. So if you get 100% resistance to an element, for argument's sake, we're going to go fire, you obviously nullify all damage from that element. Walk on lava, stand in the fire for some reason, who cares? If you get 125%, you heal for the damage over the 100%. So if you get hit with a fireball that does 100 damage, you heal for 25 HP. Make sense? Makes sense. Same thing with vulnerability. You can get higher vulnerabilities. So if you're just vulnerable, you're going to take 25% more damage. You get too vulnerable, you're going to take 100% more damage. It's going to double the damage of the element that you're vulnerable to. Make sense? Makes sense. Yeah, those are the only two that I've filled out completely, just because I was in the mood at the time. I actually think I need to lower what they do because I made them a long time ago before the newest version where the level cap is technically 30 now. Um, it's only 30 because the classes that you get. So let's go back to classes. We'll go back to Spellblade. There's enough EXP here for, I don't know, 10, 12 levels. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, about 12 levels, 12 and a half levels, 12 and almost 13 levels because that's 75. So almost 13 levels of EXP to use to get all of these abilities. They can become, so at level 10, you can take your base class and you can go and become an advanced class. So Saber Mage, right? And we're already starting off strong. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then the upgraded version of your encounter ability. And then the master class would be the Dueler, which isn't incomplete, but most of them don't have complete final classes. But anyway, it's going to stop at near or around level 30. You're not going to be able to spend any more on your class. You could get everything your class has to offer after 30 levels. Now, obviously, I'm not including elements, feats, weapon arts, other stuff that you could buy. So you're not going to stop leveling up at level 30. You obviously can keep leveling up. You can keep adding stats. You can keep getting more HP. You keep learning other things, but your class ends at level 30 until you die and get your demon or guardian class. Anyway, so there is technically no level cap, but level 30 is where if you've only been buying your abilities for your class, you stop. Unlikely, but could happen. Who knows? Let's see. Yes, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. Obviously, get your notes, foes and allies. You can fill these out however you want, whatever you want to do. I haven't made any kind of like um, tables for you to roll on to decide if you have allies and foes. Um, if you want to, quick start a character, but these can become important. Who knows? Obviously, you can put in your full actions, your minor actions, your reactions, your encounter abilities. Um, I know I didn't go over encounter abilities for the combat because encounter abilities are always a full action, um, and you can only use them once per battle. They do use whatever corresponding, ability point or spell point, uh, but you are limited to using it only one time. Feats, weapon arts, movements, they're all there. You can say you were a strength build, yeah, switch it to strength. Or if you're like the artificer, you can use intelligence instead of magic. So you still have freedom of build. If you don't want to have all the magic and you just want to be, the diplomatic kind, solves things with their mind, go for it. Uh, a lot of people are going to be confused about something, so we're going to go down here to our skills and proficiencies and explain some of these. It's just your general knowledge of things in the world. We're dumb, so we might not know a lot of things. Your knowledge of nature, natural things, is upstream uphill, is downstream downhill. Does moss grow on the north side of a rock? Like shit like that. Knowledge of the nobility, the higher class people, anything that might be famous or rich or uh, in that category. Your knowledge of history is kind of self explanatory. Your knowledge of magic, obviously. The ability to decipher things, riddles, shit scrawled on the wall, ciphers for, like assassination contracts or figuring out if the ledger is accurate for the shipment and, if anybody's skimming money off the top. Who knows? Toolcraft, this is going to be your extra stuff. If people want to make hammers, shovels, rakes, uh, blacksmithing tools, uh, lock picks, shit like that. Mage smithing. This is going to be like putting together a wand, making a staff that shoots, lightning bolts through you, so you can shoot the lightning bolt out of your ass. Uh, Amulets with curses, rings that spit fire. Whatever cool little magical thing you can think of. Potion craft, yes, you can brew potions. You can make sorium potions. You can make healing potions. You can make poisons. You can uh, make a gas that turns to or make a liquid that turns to a gas as soon as it hits air, so it makes a fog. Any kind of cool little shit that you can think of for alchemy. Oh God, I shouldn't have had chocolate. Engineering, anything that's going to require you to make a device, bear trap, trip wire, a door that collapses on you if you try to open it. Whatever weird little contraption you're thinking of making, you got to make that roll. And then medicine check, your medical abilities. Like, oh yeah, your arm's dislocated. I can fix that for you if you hold still. Probably not. Probably don't let me do that. Spell crafting. This is where we're gonna have a little bit of a hiccup because people are like, "Oh, isn't it like mage smithing?" No, spell crafting is where you use your knowledge of symbology and magic to create spell scrolls. Um, you can even come up with a custom spell if you wanted to, combining two other spells. uh, it's going to take hell of a roll, and it's also to help you identify other spells. Like if somebody's in battle making an incantation, you can use spellcraft and be like, "Oh, I know that spell. This is what they're going to do." Um, say you're investigating something that and you notice some material on the ground, a powder or something like that. So you could potion craft, figure out if that was a chemical put together, but it might also be residue from a spell that was cast. So you need your spell crafting. Rune crafting, kind of important in second and third era, not that important in first, but uh, you can make runes that you can attach to weapons to make like a flame tongue, armor to give you resistances, um, arrows that explode in a specific element. Runes power the world, so it's the same thing as making a battery that changes the kind of energy or element that the device works off of. So you could combine rune crafting and engineering to make a door that not just falls and collapses on you when you try to open it, but it also electrocutes you because of a lightning rune. So now you can't let go of it. So you try to open it, it smashes you to the ground, and you're stuck to it while it electrocutes you. Sucks. Sense and awareness. Awareness is the things that you can see or be observant about, be aware of things around you. Sense is more of a magical term where you feel things through the force, right? I feel a disturbance. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Anyway, uh, you can you can feel magical energies, magical traps, magical beings. There's a race, a specific class called a remnant for the Gomsen, which is basically a magical vampire, and they rely heavily on this stat because the damage that they do to magical creatures, they can take half of that as healing. Um, but this is more your metaphysical ability to feel things. Agility, kind of self-explanatory. Can I do a handspring back rotating flip off of this cliff and land on that pinpoint telephone pole? Let's see. Fuck yeah, let's go. Piloting and driving, skullduggery and guile. It's going to be your ability to lie and steal and sneak, hide, your sleight of hand. All that's wrapped up in there. Trade. Uh, in this town, a potion costs 50 dips, but in the next town, a potion costs 150 dips. Are you being fucked over, or is that just for supply and demand? Roll it out. Or they will buy a potion from you for 25 dips, and then they're going to flip around and sell it for 50. Are you being fucked over? Can you barter for a better deal? There it is. Animal taming and training. So, yeah, you can just rent a horse, I guess, or steal it, but is it used to you? Are you used to it? Do you know how to do this? Um, Maybe you're out in the wilderness, injured and alone, and a fucking inferno wolf stalks you down. Can you maybe calm it? Keep it from maiming your face while you try to recover? You've got 1 HP. This thing has 300. Somebody's losing this fight, and it's probably you. And diplomacy is going to be more your negotiations. You're trying to stop a conflict between two tribes, or you really need, uh, lodging, or for this noble to get off of your back. Um, your ability to be diplomatic and get out of the situation through talking. Your bard stat. Endurance is going to be endurance and immunity or close to the same thing, right? Endurance can lessen. Uh, you're going to be doing a lot of strenuous activities. You're going to be holding up this, you know, ceiling from collapsing on you and your party while they figure out the trap and riddle. Uh, mostly just strenuous activity. Immunity. This is your body's ability to fight back against poisons, venoms, and other effects that lower your health, or not your HP, but your actual health. Do you smoke a lot? Are you getting lung cancer? Let's check your immunity. Blacksmithing, armor crafting, and weapon crafting. So blacksmithing and toolcraft go hand in hand. Um, this is Blacksmithing is more for maintaining your tools, right? You can make the tools, but can you maintain them? Also, it's for maintaining your armor, your weapons, your magical items, whatever else you got going on. It is a general maintenance ability. Uh, don't trust me to do that. Armor crafting, you're gonna be making your breastplates, your leather jerkin, your your trousers of infinite sprint, whatever you're working on here. Uh, and weapon crafting, same deal. You know, these are going to go with the crafting system, which was filled out until I got a bug up my ass and decided to delete it all because I didn't like the way it was coming out. But stay tuned. Work is being done. It is still being finished. Um, the basic game is playable. Obviously, we're 2 sessions in. Uh, Only in the last 8 years have I been super serious about this game. Uh, and I think at this point we're on version 12. It has come a long way from its original depth. Yeah, we'll be using this video informatively for the future so everybody can figure out how to make a character, understand some of the lore and systems, and hopefully answer some questions prematurely. And it only took me an hour and a half. Look at me go. I'm amazing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.